Tēnā tātou, ko Lani Kereopa tōku ingoa, ki te taha o tōku kuia a moana rika no Ngāti Whakaue me Ngāti Whāua, ki te taha o tōku kuraua a Ihaia Kereopa no Ngāti Tarawhai, Ngāti Hinamihi me Ngāti Wāhiao. First question I've been asked to answer, why am I standing? I'm standing because I love Rotorua. I've got whakapapa to Te Arawa hapu mai make tū ki Tongariro. Ohana mutu pā is my tūranga waiwai, and I feel a strong sense of responsibility to our kaitiakitanga obligations as mana whenua to restore and enhance our natural environment and indigenous ecosystems. And I feel an even stronger sense of responsibility as a mama and a kuia to restore and protect the whakapapa birthright of our tamariki a mokopuna. I made the decision to stand for RLC strictly because of the introduction of the Māori ward seats, which I believe provide a long overdue opportunity for mana whenua to engage in local council freely as mana whenua. I believe the interests of non-Māori are already strictly well represented by councillors, both Māori and non-Māori, who sit in the general seats. And I'm standing in the Māori ward because I want to represent the interests of mana whenua and Mātāwaka specifically to aid in addressing the widespread inequality and inequity apparent within our local Māori communities. I've absolutely zero political career aspirations, and the trigger for me to stand in the Māori ward was the current work of council to rezone Rotorua for housing intensification. While we do need more homes, I can see clearly that if the process is not co-developed, co-managed and co-implemented with iwi, housing intensification will be the third and final wave in the destruction of our hapu papakainga communities, such as Te Koutu, Ngāpuna and Whakarewarewa, which are the backbone of our hapu and iwi. The first wave was the rezoning of our traditional pā communities surrounding our marae to residential low commercial. This allowed the tourism and accommodation sectors to buy up properties and displace our families surrounding our marae in order to profit off our Māori culture. Whitaker Road and the entrance to Waka Village are perfect examples of that. It's gotten worse over the past 30 years, where we now have food, retail and social services surrounding our marae throughout Rotorua, where our families should be living and raising our tamariki. Look at Apumoana Marae and Tārewa Road. The second wave was the rezoning of our iwi residential areas to industrial, so that the poisoning of lands, waters and taonga species by polluting industries and unsustainable council waste management systems such as dumps and water-based wastewater treatment could occur freely, with all associated impacts on environment, health and well-being aimed directly at the most vulnerable local communities, which are our Māori communities rendered voiceless. Ngāpuna is the most obvious example of this, and Tura Te Ngākau is another. The third wave will be intensification, where 50 low amenity apartments can be built where one or two of our papakainga homes once stood, and disconnected peoples from all around the country struggling with mental health issues, addictions and criminal records dumped on the doorsteps of our Te Arawa families and communities. I'm putting my hand up as an advocate for our voiceless whānau to try and help protect those things that we cherish, that have kept us strong and connected as Te Arawa, and that make us uniquely Māori. The second question, how do I see Te Arawa Vision 2050 being integrated within the RLC long-term plan? We need the appropriate expertise, resourcing and support to map the strategic objectives for 2050 across the long-term plan. This means identifying the systems changes needed, the actions required, the pathways that must be taken, timelines and deadlines set, and milestones expected along the way to ensure the vision is met. The same thing needs to happen with the Te Arawa climate change strategy to support our hapu and iwi to build resilience and adapt to all potential impacts of climate breakdown. Third question, how important are Māori-owned businesses to our communities? The establishment of locally owned circular enterprise and economies at marae, hapu and community level has been identified as a priority for Te Arawa within our climate change strategy. In this time of climate breakdown, we cannot continue with unsustainable systems where we rely on trucking our food into Rotorua from other places, buying our energy and everyday goods and services from profit-driven corporations with no vested interests in our communities. Locally grown, sourced, produced, made, shared, repaired, refurbished, reused, recycled and resold is the goal, and our Māori communities must play the leading role in that. Ngā mihi mahana, kia koutou katoa.